Pierre bunts. It's a beauty. Oh, boy, that's a fantastic bunt. Alvarez's throw goes up to right field.
Sorry, folks, but we interrupt this program live from Benjamin Franklin's former house. Through a recent investigation of what was once Benjamin Franklin's former house, we have found an unexplored underground room filled with Franklin's old books and journals. While searching through his old bookcases, an interesting discovery was made by our historians. Though filmmaking was not available in the 1700s, a CD labeled 6 Minutes, Our Quest for Independence, really caught the investigators' attention. It appears to be the 60-minute show of the 18th century and what was then only 6 minutes. Our historians have already watched the tape, and it offers a personal recount of how America came to be and the hardships faced by the colonists. And right here, on this very ground, is where we made the amazing discoveries.
Hi, I'm Scott Belly, and on this segment of 6 Minutes, we take a look at the mystery of the stolen slaves of Virginia. But first, we interview Ben Franklin as he recounts his first-hand experience on America's quest for independence. Thanks for joining us today, Ben.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, how difficult was it to stand up to an incredible world power that the British were in the 1700s?
It was time for someone to send a message to the British Empire. Taxation without representation was suffocating our colonists, and we could not stand for it anymore.
If you could, speak specifically about those types of taxes.
While there were the sugar, stamp, and quartering acts, these taxes, which were instituted by Prime Minister Grenville, cost Americans a substantial amount of money. Not to mention the fact they were forced to house British soldiers without question.
Could you talk specifically about the Tea Act and how you responded to this great demand by Great Britain?
As you know, the Tea Act, which was instituted while Lord North was in command, was dealt with intensely as our colonists dumped 45 tons of tea into the Boston Harbor. Though this act actually lowered the price of tea, a monopoly on tea trade was granted the East India Company, which could not happen.
As a result of dumping the tea into the harbor, Great Britain issued the Coercive Acts. Could you explain the 4 elements?
First, the Boston Harbor was closed in accordance with the Port Bill, which kept imports from reaching Boston through that harbor. Secondly, the Government Act closed the legislature in Boston. Next, an Administration of Justice Act. British soldiers who committed a crime in 13 colonies could be sent back to England, which would result in a much less severe punishments. Finally, a new quartering act was established which permitted the soldiers to live in our houses and with no permission of our own.
I know how difficult it was to recall those times when Americans were suppressed so much by British taxation. Ben, thanks for your time. Now let's send it over to Arthur Waddington for a report on the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
A few weeks ago, on July 4th, 1776, the Declaration of Independence was signed in the building behind me. What does this mean for the common American citizen? Well, it grants us the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and it guarantees our independence from the Crown. This achievement was the result of weeks of debating, and fortunately, our cameras were able to capture the final debate on the use of the word slavery in the Declaration. Warning, this argument may not be suitable for children under the age of 10.
He has waged cruel war against human nature itself, violating its most sacred rights of life, liberty, in the persons of a distant people who never offended him, captivating and carrying them into slavery.
Mr. Jefferson, you cannot phrase that statement that way. Using the word slavery is contrary to our beliefs here in America, as we also participate in slavery. Even you, sir, own more slaves than any of us in this room.
That is a bold statement, my friend. However, it is necessary for us to make a compelling argument for the king to take us seriously.
I believe that there is a better way to state our grievances without using that word. How is the king going to take us seriously if we call ourselves slaves, but own slaves as well? Tell me that, Mr. Jefferson.
I will abide by your request, sir, as it reflects the general interest of everyone present at this convention. I will work to rephrase the statement.
Thank you, Mr. Jefferson.
A very heated debate for sure. Also, on the phone now is our senior correspondent, Ben Gates. He was able to have a look at the Declaration. Mr. Gates, in your opinion, what is the most influential line of the Declaration of Independence?
But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, It is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and provide new guards for their future security.
Interesting. Now, what were these men risking when they signed the Declaration of Independence?
Had we lost the war, they would have been hanged, beheaded, drawn and quartered, and my personal favorite, had their entrails cut out and burned.
Okay. Now, last question, Mr. Gates. Why do you have such a profound interest in the Declaration of Independence?
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
All right. Well, good luck with that, Mr. Gates. Thank you for your time.
Well, there were the sugar, stamp, and quartering acts. These taxes, which were instituted starting
Mr. Jefferson. Mr. Jefferson, you cannot.
That is a bold statement, my friend. That is a bold.
Hi, I'm Scott Belly, and on this segment of 6 Minutes, we take a look at mysterious stolen slaves from Virginia. For the first half of our segment, we interview Ben Franklin. Hi, I'm Scott Belly, and on this segment of 6 Minutes, we take a look at the mysterious mystery. God! Hi, I'm Scott.
Stop.